To Major Doron Spielman, spokesman for the IDF, who also joins us live this evening from Israel. Let me start with the news that's being given to us by the nation of Qatar that on this next release list of hostages, there is one American on the list. Can you confirm any of that from where you sit?
What I confirm is that there are, in fact, 14 hostages that are going to be released. 10 Israelis, possibly one with dual citizenship, like you've mentioned, and 4 with Thai citizenship. The actual details we won't know like every night. It's this kind of drawn out process until they actually come into Israel. We can look them in the eyes, we can touch them and look at them and see if they're healthy. Only then we'll be able to verify the situation. It's this ongoing uncertainty that I know you've been living with us night after night after night.
We have, and we're wondering whether it continues from here or the war effort resumes from here. Anything on whether the truce will be extended? Do we know anything at this hour?
I can tell you there's an option. You know, Israel, the war cabinet did set up a certain type of framework here that can go on for a few more days before it has to be revoted on. The condition is that every day there will be 10 Israeli live hostages that are released. And as long as that goes forth, we will pause our operational campaign. I can tell you on the ground, we are ready to move forward operationally. We've checked, we know our targets, we're refreshed, and we understand and know that Hamas has to be destroyed. That's an eventuality. And if we need to do it tonight, we'll do it tonight or tomorrow night, whenever that needs to be done.
So should we assume then that the pause remains in effect until we hear otherwise, as opposed to the other way around? How should we think about this?
I think that we need to take it day by day. Again, as long as there's a willingness, and we've assumed, and the war cabinet did approve a 10-day extended format for this to take place, this could move forward. However, if at any point in time, those conditions are not met with 10 Israeli live hostages every evening, then we'll take orders from up above. And as soon as they come in, again, we are ready. We're already deployed in Gaza. And it's just a matter of a very short period of time until we are actively ready to move forward with our military goals.
Okay, a few wider questions in a moment, but just to clarify and this final point. So you're telling us 14 hostages are about to be released. Is that right? Not in Israel yet, or they are? What was
Correct.
the timing?
On their way.
On their way right now.
They're on their way to Israel right now. We've received similar reports to as you have.
Okay.
And usually the way things go is they're heading from Gaza via Rafiah into Egypt. From Egypt, they usually come to Israel. It's a process that usually takes an hour, hour and a half. They're then checked at the border as soon as we get them to assess their immediate health conditions in case there's an ongoing emergency like we have had with some of our hostages that came out. One of them is still fighting for her life. After that, they're moved to hospitals with a proper setting where they meet their families. If they're children, we've set up those entire areas, you know, to try to psychologically help them ease into society, and then they're reassessed for their medical situation. Again, the medical journey of these people is going to take months. They say it will take months just to assess what they're going to need in terms of psychological help after this traumatic experience in the tunnels under Gaza.
Of course, and to your earlier point, we've all gotten used to, for better or worse, watching this unfold in real time the last few nights, and we'll watch it again here tonight. The question I wanted to ask you about, and make sure that I did, was about this family that had the little baby, the 10-month-old baby, and there were these reports that Hamas said, well, the baby, a sibling, and the mother, 3 of them, they were all killed in an Israeli airstrike before the truce was even agreed upon. To our understanding, that hadn't been confirmed, at least earlier today, by the Israeli side. Do you know any information about that family?
It's still not confirmed. We're checking this with every resource we have, and based on intelligence, signal intelligence, human intelligence, every type of intelligence, to try to ascertain. I'm hoping that this is not true. The hearts of the Israeli people are with this family, the Bibas family. That little baby, Fear, his brother, 4-year-old brother, a harrowing journey. They were yanked out of their beds on October 7th. There's a video that shows their mother in a state of horror, clutching them to her chest. They were alive when they left Israel, and we are placing full responsibility, however this may have played out, on Hamas's heads, that they return home safely. We're praying that they're still alive.
Now, final thing for you tonight, at least, if and when this war effort does resume, even if the pause continues here to the point you were making for a few more days, when it resumes, it's clear from the Prime Minister's point of view, Prime Minister Netanyahu, that it will still be an aggressive action. He said as much earlier today. He said 3 goals: eliminate Hamas, return all the hostages, ensure Gaza will never go back to being a threat to the state of Israel. These goals still stand. Talked about it the past week. We've had a great achievement returning these hostages. A week ago, that seemed tough to imagine, but we achieved it. And in recent days, I've heard a question: after completing this stage of the return of our hostages, will Israel go back to fighting? My answer is an unequivocal yes. Question for you is, what will that look like? I understand you want to go back to fighting. Will it be the same type of war that we saw before the pause? Will anything change?
Look, we've been doing a lot of operational assessments. This time that we've had while getting our hostages back has been very important for the IDF. We've not only been able to refresh, we've been able to go through our intelligence, plan our operational movements, and I can't reveal them online, but we're constantly updating and changing. Our goal is clear. As you've said, Hamas must be eliminated wherever they are located. We know the road ahead is not going to be any simpler than the one we've taken till now. Hamas have no boundaries of what they're willing to do. They'll use hostages, they'll use their own civilians, they'll use schools, hospitals, even mosques to barricade themselves in with booby traps. We expect more of this, and we're as ready, if not more ready, to move forward with this now than we were when this began.
Major Doron Spielman from the IDF, thank you, sir, for joining us.
Thank you.